Laura, a little bit of a pep talk. I mean, a lot of CEOs say, hey, just focus on the business. Don't worry about the stock price. But there's been some extreme moves, and I would imagine maybe some extreme swings in employee sentiment at Tesla.
I think some employees are concerned about the share price because a long-term reason to stay there is to earn stock options. And others have a feeling of, hey, if my options vest when the price is low and then we can focus and execute, it's a benefit to them. There are mixed reactions. You got to understand, a lot of Tesla employees try to ignore Elon Musk's other business and his politics and all this stuff and just stay focused on the environmental mission and making really cool cars.
Yeah, that certainly wouldn't, I guess, we shouldn't lose sight of that they are kind of in a long-term project here. Although I do wonder what the general feeling is, given that he, by all appearances, is dedicating an enormous amount of time to running Twitter as sole proprietor of it, and maybe less so day-to-day at Tesla.
Elon Musk has repeatedly claimed that, Twitter is like 10% of the complexity of Tesla, and it's not taking that much of his time. But it has certainly caused him to sell, tens of billions of dollars worth of his Tesla shares. He told Twitter employees he sold Tesla to save their business. He's bringing some Tesla employees over to help him at Twitter. And so that is definitely a concern. Many shareholders and some of the employees would prefer that Elon focuses on Tesla. And it's for sure a concern. I think it's probably one of the reasons he sent this, although he does kind of traditionally send these end of quarter, encouraging emails to workers. I think employees at Tesla also, after layoffs earlier this year, are feeling kind of overworked. And it's a really big ask. One thing in that email Elon wrote, he's asking for volunteers to help with end-of-year deliveries to get customers their cars. And again, it's a really big ask, especially considering New Year's Eve.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt about it. And we do know, based on some of the pricing incentives and things we're hearing about, that they are, in one of those end-of-quarter rushes to try to get those deliveries. Do you think there's a sense out there, and some folks on Wall Street have expressed this, some analysts, that there's just Tesla as a brand has become a little more controversial and politicized to some degree based on what he's doing with Twitter? Is there any feeling that that's pervading the employee ranks, that idea?
Yes, you're definitely correct. The market research from organizations like YouGov is finding that Tesla has become, and Elon Musk more so, has become sort of a partisan brand. So he's losing the liberals, basically. People who hold liberal ideologies are feeling differently, more hesitant about Tesla and about him. I would say when you look at, the data on who employees from which companies and who they're donating to, a lot of Tesla employees donate to more left-leaning politicians and causes. But again, I want to emphasize that the employees I've connected with are focused on either the environmental mission or designing and making cool cars. And so they try to ignore, the CEO's kind of political dramas and how he's needling some followers on Twitter with all of this.